Well, I mustered up enough courage to go see Snow White.
I thought I'd drink a little.
Well, let's talk about it.
Maybe you should drink a little.
Hi everyone, my name is Bob and welcome to What's It Good, where I give you my movie and TV show reviews. And today we're going to be talking about Disney's live-action remake of Snow White. Now, before I get into this review, I do want to let you know that there will be some spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is your spoiler warning. Now, if you have seen it, I'd like to know what you thought. Why don't you go ahead and share your comments in the comment section below? Let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you even looking forward to this? What did you think of all the controversy surrounding it? I'd really like to know what you thought. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. In this live-action adaptation of the 1937 Disney animated film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, we see Snow White join forces with the Seven Dwarfs to liberate her kingdom from her cruel stepmother, the evil queen. Now, it's no secret that expectations were pretty low for this film as the film kept getting pushed further and further back. You had certain pictures come out and they didn't exactly wow anybody. And then you had controversy because of things that the lead actress said. As it turns out, people don't really like it when you trash the source material.
Weird.
But controversy aside, I wanted to be fair to this movie, and my expectations were pretty low based on the trailers that I saw, but I did want to go ahead and give this a chance. So now that I saw it, is it the fairest of them all?
Let us pray.
To be honest, I'm really struggling to find something I enjoyed here, but I do think that Rachel Zegler did a pretty good job with the singing in the film. I do think that she's pretty talented, and I've enjoyed other films that she's had to do some singing in. So I do think that her voice fit the songs pretty well, and that was probably one of the better aspects of the film. As far as other positives go, I can say that my eyes got plenty of exercise. There were plenty of seats in the theater.
Waiting on a wish, holding out.
And the ticket was free.
Thanks for the good news.
But otherwise, it's all downhill from here. I'm not even sure where to begin here, but I think we'll go ahead and start with the story additions and changes. This film is going to have plenty of those, and that's kind of understood because the original film came out in 1937, and because of that, it doesn't really get into a whole lot of detail as far as the characters and story goes. It's a very on-the-surface story, so you're going to get some of those additions here, and part of those additions and changes are because of the casting choices, and I'll get to those in a moment, but one of those changes has to do with the name Snow White. In this film, she actually gets her name because she was born during a snowstorm, and it's probably a good thing that she wasn't born during a more significant weather event, but then again, we probably could have gotten a cool theme song out of it.
Rock you like a hurricane.
So I wasn't a big fan of that. The next has to do with the prince, as he's not actually a prince. Instead, he's a bandit, and he's got this group of men, almost like Robin Hood and his merry men.
Right.
So Snow White and this bandit, along with several other characters, they have several political discussions talking about fairness and oppression, and it just really gets laid on thick, and it's just very distracting throughout the whole movie. Then we get to the ending of the movie, and that's actually very different from the original tale, as in the original tale, the Wicked Queen ends up falling to her death. But that never happens. You actually get this showdown between her and Snow White after Snow White's awakened by true love's kiss, and you have Snow White and the townspeople because Snow White's basically leading this revolution against the Wicked Queen, and you've got the Wicked Queen and all of her guards, and they're all face to face, and it's at this point that Snow White starts reminding the guards who used to be farmers and bakers and craftsmen and stuff like that, and she starts reminding them about all the good times there used to be, and they instantly just turn on the queen, and it's just absolutely ridiculous the way that it happens. The truth of the matter is, I would have much rather seen Kristen Stewart's Snow White have a final showdown at that moment. I thought it was a terrible ending, and at that point, I was just ready to go home. Now, let me go ahead and address a few more things. First off, the dwarves. The dwarves look awful. They look like really bad garden gnomes. They really should have casted live actors to play these roles, but we all know why they didn't.
Call me elf one more time.
And so because of one man's opinion, we get some pretty awful versions of the dwarves. Now, as far as the casting for the lead actors go, I think it's some pretty interesting choices that you got here because the story's going to always be associated with outward beauty, regardless whether you change the meaning of the term fairest of them all. It's going to be associated with outward beauty. So in what world is the Wicked Queen supposed to be jealous of Snow White when you cast an actress who played a character that was a literal goddess? And that's not a knock on Rachel Zegler because I know if I asked the mirror who the fairest of them all was, I might only come out over one person. So it's hard to believe the jealousy of the Wicked Queen in this particular case. And as far as the performances of the two actresses go, Rachel Zegler's a little bit better. And like I said, she did well with the singing, but some of the dialogue and the way that it's written, I don't think is very good at all. And her performance came off pretty bad. And then Gal Gadot's came off like an absolute cartoon character. And what I think she was trying to do is be over the top because she was playing a Disney villain, but it's almost like she's playing in a different movie than what everybody else is because her tone does not match what everybody else is doing. It's a really over the top bad performance. And really, the performances in by a lot of the actors in the movie are pretty bad. Finally, I want to close out with the new songs in the film. Two in particular, one by the Bandit and one by the Wicked Queen. I think they are pretty bad. And by the end of them, I swear I needed a lobotomy.
My God, man. Drilling holes in his head's not the answer.
So I really didn't like the new songs. Overall, I did not have a good time watching this movie. To be honest, I would have much rather watched the Gremlins watching Snow White. Real quick, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to go ahead and remind you to go ahead and check out the other videos on my channel. Maybe I've reviewed something that you're interested in or something that you've seen already and you'd like to let me know what you thought about it. Also, for those that are interested, I do have another YouTube channel with a couple of my friends where we put on a show called Dad's Turn to Talk. This is an opportunity for three dads to get together and talk about the things that we want to talk about, including movies, sports, pop culture, and have a little bit of fun at each other's expense. The link to that channel will be in the description below. This is just a formality at this point, but was it good? Absolutely not. This movie was utter garbage. It's one of, if not the worst Disney remake that there's been. Give me Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast any day. I thought the acting was pretty poor. The casting decisions were very questionable. The dwarves looked bad. The additions to the story I thought were very off. And some of the songs just really weren't good at all. So overall, I did not have a good time with this one. Now, to be fair, I am not the target audience here, but couple of kids that were in the audience really didn't seem to be into the movie, so take that for what it's worth, but I think you can probably skip it. Now, if you're still watching this long, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.